Chapter 160, Bountiful Harvest. The power exerted by a strong person of the 9th level of the Jidan stage, holding a lower grade treasure weapon. I'm afraid that the power exerted would be comparable to that of a Yuanying stage powerhouse. Bearing in mind that the inner elixir that Yanchon had formed was a 7-turned violet elixir, which wasn't something that could be comparable to that of a low-level Jidan stage cultivator held by Li Laoki. HMPH, something that doesn't know how to die. How dare you challenge Yanchon? Apart from the strongest on the submerged dragon list, there is no one who can defeat Yanchon who possesses a lower grade treasure weapon. Hee. To be able to force out Yanchon's lower grade treasure weapon, this brat is indeed not to be underestimated. But it's a pity that he also only stops here and has no chance of reaching the Heavenly Tao sect. HMPH, who let him find his own death. How dare he rebel against our Great Hong Kingdom? Doesn't he know how powerful our Great Hong Kingdom is? This time, among the young talents participating in the Heavenly Tao sect's disciple acceptance ceremony, it is our Great Hong country that has the most and strongest. When the crowd of powerful people from the Great Hong country saw Yanchon make the flame giant wheel, a confident gleam suddenly appeared in their eyes, and they sneered. Oh no, it's an inferior treasure weapon. Wang Shan's heart sank. The others in the squad were also filled with heavy colors. The powerful pressure emanating from that flame giant wheel caused a huge stone to be pressed in their hearts. If they were to be confronted with such a might, I'm afraid that they wouldn't even have the courage to make a move. This time, he should go all out. Wang Shan's gaze was tightly fixed on Kang Chon's figure. For some reason, his intuition told him that even in the face of the might of an inferior treasure weapon, this purple-clothed youth would be able to block it. In midair, Kang Chon looked at the imposing Yanchon with a cold expression, and there was surprisingly not the slightest ****** trace of it in his eyes, as if he didn't care at all about the threat of the lower-grade treasure weapon. Undeniably, Kang Chon was already very powerful now. Between a few punches, he was able to kill a Jidan stage 9th layer powerhouse. With his empty hands, if he used the black long knife to execute the heaven breaking, the power would reach a terrifying level. One must know that the black long knife was also a spiritual weapon, and now Kang Chon was able to completely utilize the power of this spiritual weapon. Therefore, even if Yanchon grasped an inferior treasure weapon, he did not care. Kid, there's no chance for you to regret now. But for a strong person like you, I'll give you a decent death. Let you be buried in the boundless sea of fire. Haha. A sizzling light enveloped Yanchon's body. Feeling this terrifying power, a confident glow filled his morose eyes. He believed that with the power of a lower-grade treasure weapon, even a strong person on the subterranean dragon ranking would not dare to collide head-on when he met them. Accompanied by a burst of laughter, Yanchon took a step out, and the giant wheel of flame above his head instantly rotated, emitting a wave of scorching fire, like a fire snake gulping hot flames, raging towards Kang Chon. Catch my move, Fire Dragon Storm. Countless fire snakes twisted their huge bodies, tumbling waves of scorching fire, erupting with unrivaled energy fluctuations. And amidst a rumbling sound, countless fire snakes rose up into the sky, forming a scorching storm of flames that swept towards Kang Chon, a terrifying might that shook the heavens and shook the earth. Boom boom. Wherever the flame storm passed, the air was burnt to emit a snorting sound. The scorching temperature caused the sea water below to roll over. Yanchon's entire person seemed to have become a flaming sun, emitting an incomparably blazing light and flame glow. Looking at the sweeping flame storm, Kang Chon's eyes flashed a trace of gravity. After all, it was an inferior treasure weapon. Although he was not afraid, but he had to go all out to do so. This moment could not be reserved anymore. Break heaven. Between thoughts, the long black blade in Kang Chon's hand appeared violently. An unrivaled powerful blade momentum instantly rose, and a terrifying intention swept through the entire heaven and earth like a storm. Instantly, everyone felt their bodies tremble. The terrifying pressure that erupted from Kang Chon's body caused them to tremble. This pressure, could it be? Yan Chon's eyes shrunk, and then his gaze was filled with unbelief. Right at this moment, an incomparably blazing blade tore through the void, as if divine punishment had instantly descended, and the blade which was tens of feet long, fiercely cleaved on top of the huge flamed wheel above Yan Chon's head. Boom! The two powerful energies collided fiercely, and a shocking explosion rang out. A terrifying energy storm spread out between their collisions, and wherever they passed, shocking waves rolled up on the sea. The crowd of people watching the battle from afar was stunned. This terrifying might was enough to kill them in seconds. Rumbling. In the end, the huge flame giant wheel was shaken away by this blade of Kang Chon's, and Yan Chon also sprayed out a mouthful of blood, his face full of unbelief. Broken sky. Kang Chon didn't stop for a second, once again slashing out a knife to break the sky. The powerful force shattered everything, as if destroying everything, swallowing Yan Chon's entire being in the boundless blade onings. Boom! The light dispersed. Yan Chon's entire person flew out backwards in a sorry state. A clearly visible crack appearing on the spiritual weapon treasure armor on his body. At this moment, his original confident smile had long since disappeared. His face was filled with shock and disbelief. He clearly could not imagine that he possessed a treasure weapon, but he had still lost, and in such a tragic manner. HMPH. Kang Chon snorted coldly, his entire body emitting a blazing light, golden true essence swirling out, making him like a golden god of war. Suffering to heaven-breaking blasts, Yan Chon was bound to die, his piece of inferior treasure weapon floating in the air. But it disappeared into the sky with a whoosh. This treasure weapon sensed Yan Chon's fall and flew towards its original owner. The whole scene was silent, quiet to the extreme. 9 turns Golden Dan, looking at Kang Chon, whose entire body emitted a blazing golden light. Everyone's gazes were filled with shock. A cultivator who could have golden true essence at the Jidan stage. Who else could it be except for the supreme genius who had formed the 9-turn Golden Dan? 9 transformation Golden Dan. Those who were able to form the 9 transformation Golden Dan were all the supreme geniuses on the subterranean dragon list. How is this possible? We're actually traveling with a powerful person on the potent dragon ranking. Everyone was shocked. 9 revolutions golden pill. It really is the 9 revolutions golden pill. What I sensed is not wrong. Wang Shan's face was full of excitement, and several squad members were also shocked. It was hard to imagine that they had traveled all the way with such a strong person. Defeated. Yan Chon, who possesses a treasure weapon, was even defeated. I'm afraid this is something that Yan Yun couldn't do. The faces of the crowd of powerful people from the Great Han country were filled with shock, their gazes filled with tremors. Yan Chon was their pillar, and now that this pillar had collapsed, they no longer had any advantage. Together with Kang Chon's group of young geniuses, it was no longer something that the group of strong men from the Great Han country could fight against. Where is the entrance to the Yuanying space? Kang Chon walked step by step, his icy cold eyes staring at the crowd of Great Han country's strongest, his powerful aura forming a terrifying pressure that pounced on his face. The group of strong men from the Great Han country immediately trembled, each of them filled with fear. Kang Chon gazed coldly at the group of Da Han Kingdom's strongest, his cold eyes flashed with a stern chill. Although he did not deliberately emit a powerful energy, but just by the aura that had just forcefully killed Yan Chon, it was enough to make everyone present feel a heavy oppressive force. The faces of a group of strong men from the Great Han country were filled with trembling. Although they were unwilling, he had no choice in the face of Kang Chon at this moment, because they knew that once they said no, then the end would be the same as Yan Chon. One of the strongest members of the Great Han country trembled as he said, Actually, we don't know the entrance to the ushering space. That stone tablet only recorded the route to the next island above. In order to know where the entrance to the ushering space is, one must travel to the next island to check it out. Kang Tian frowned when he heard this. Surprisingly, this was the case. His icy gaze couldn't help but look at that great Han country powerhouse and coldly said, "I will ask someone else. If he doesn't have the same answer as what you said, then you should know the downfall." That great Han country powerhouse immediately trembled at those words. Kang Tian wasn't an idiot. Naturally, he wouldn't gullibly believe this person's words. He had to find a few more great Han country powerhouses and ask them individually. If they said the same thing, then it was true. As a matter of fact, Kang Tian's worries were redundant. These great Han country powerhouses had already been scared. Where would they dare to deceive him? After finding a few great Han kingdom powerhouses to ask, Kang Tian received the same answer. Clearly, these people had not deceived him. In order to know where the entrance to the ushering space was, he had to follow the route to the next island. Brother Kang Tian, it seems that what they said is true. What do we do now? Wuxia walked over and whispered in a low voice, but secretly, he was transmitting his voice to Kang Tian, saying, "Brother Kang Tian, you just killed Yan Tian. If you let them leave, it will attract that Yan Yun. Even if you don't care about Yan Yun, behind Yan Yun is Wuxia. That is the second-ranked invincible powerhouse on the subterranean dragon ranking," Wuxia said, and his eyes flashed with killing intent. Obviously, he meant to kill and exterminate. No need. It's useless to kill them. That Yan Yun will still know. Kang Tian shook his head at his words. Even if he killed these powerful people from the Great Han country, the others would still spread the word. After all, people of selfishness. He didn't believe that the others would help him keep his secret. Wuxia nodded helplessly at his words, but in his heart he was incomparably happy. He was just now worried that Kang Tian would go berserk and kill everyone to silence them. However, although these people are exempted from their deadly sins, their living sins are equally hard to escape. Kang Tian smiled coldly. Then his entire persona transformed into a ray of light and rushed into the crowd of people from the Great Han Kingdom, his berserk overlord fist shaking in all directions. "What are you doing? We've already told you the information about the space leading to the ushering stage. Do you still want to drive us to extinction? Kill us, and the strongest of our Great Han Kingdom will not spare you. Lord Wuxia will avenge us." The crowd of Great Han country powerhouses were in a state of shock and anger. Each of their faces were filled with panic. Despite their desperate attempts to resist, the gap between their strength and Kang Tian's was too great, and in no time at all, they were broken by Kang Tian's individual attacks. "Don't worry, I won't kill you guys," Kang Tian said coldly as he executed his overlord fist, beating all the Great Han country powerhouses to death and searched their storage bags. In the end, each and every one of these Great Han country powerhouses were severely injured, glaring at Kang Tian in the distance with a face full of unwillingness. They knew that being severely injured, it would be very difficult for them to survive in this very dangerous nodal stage space. Not to mention the fact that their storage bags were searched by Kang Tian, and all of their elixirs were in them as well. And without an elixir to treat them, it was basically impossible for them to recover from their injuries. In the meantime, just a few random Jidan stage demonic beasts would be enough to exterminate them. Kang Tian didn't kill them because they told the truth and didn't deceive him, but that didn't mean he would let these people go. Now that these people had suffered serious injuries, the chances of them being able to survive were very small. But it wasn't impossible for them to survive. Everything depended on luck. Kang Tian was considered to be giving them a chance, even though the chance was very small. "Let's go. This place is not far from the next island. We will be able to arrive within 10 days. Kang Tian coldly swept a glance at the group of strong Han Kingdom members, then said to Wuxia and the others, "If you kill Yan Tian, that precious artifact will pass the message to Yan Yun. You won't have a good ending." Even if Yan Yun is not your opponent, Wuxia will not let you go. You will suffer an endless pursuit from our Great Hong Kingdom. A group of the Great Hong Kingdom powerhouses who had suffered heavy injuries cursed and cursed angrily as they saw Kang Qian and the others leave. They knew that they had very little hope of surviving, so they did not have the slightest worry. Even if they were killed by Kang Qian as a result, it did not matter, as it was better than being devoured by those demonic beasts later on.